Today, we're going to talk about breastfeeding and failure to thrive. So, breastfeeding and failure to thrive do go together and maybe not in the way that you expect. But we're going to talk about how to investigate, is this a breastfeeding issue or is this a baby's nervous system issue, and what to do about it, and how to help your baby grow and thrive and be happy, and how you can do this and continue breastfeeding if that is your desire to do so. So, not every breastfeeding challenge is just to keep trying, wait and see, keep going. Some things do require immediate attention to make sure that baby is getting enough food, and make sure that that breastfeeding relationship can be supported and continued throughout baby's life as long as mom and baby want to. So let's talk about what you want to be watching for when you are breastfeeding your baby and you're not sure if it's going well, you're not sure if they're getting enough, and you want to know when to reach out for help. So things that are going to need some support, it's going to be poor weight gain. So baby should be back to their birth weight at 2 weeks old, and earlier is better, but we should be at birth weight and then gaining weight after that, continuously. So weight checks at your pediatrician are going to be helpful. Weight checks at the lactation consultant or the chiropractor are going to be helpful to see that your baby is gaining weight every week. A sleepy baby. So, a baby that tires at the breast, a baby that doesn't stay awake to finish a feeding, a baby that is just always sleeping and never wakes up to eat, doesn't wake up during diaper changes. These are signs that your baby's not getting enough and doesn't have energy to be awake. So, they default to sleeping mode to preserve whatever calories they do have. And it does take calories to breastfeed. So if they get sleepy at the breast, it's they're expending, they could be expending more calories than they're receiving and trying to breastfeed. So this is something to keep an eye on for sure as well. Reduce dirty diapers. So babies should poop several times a day. They should have 10 plus wet diapers a day. So if that's not happening, then that's a sign that they're not getting enough. Persistent fussiness. So um, if you've done all the things and they're still fussy, they're tired and they're fussy and they're cranky and they're seeming hungry all the time, that can definitely be a sign that they aren't getting enough. But it could be other things as well, and excessive spit up. So, there's kind of like that happy spitter. So babies do spit up. And that's going to happen. And we expect it to some extent. But if it is projectile, if it's excessive, if it's more than is controlled by a burp rig or a bib, that can be a sign. Spit up does look like a lot more than it usually is. But if you are concerned that they're spitting up their whole feed, you could put some, you could measure, how much does an ounce of milk look like when you like spot it on the floor or put it on a burp rig, and kind of judge like, is this a couple tablespoons or are we losing ounces of milk? So, more than, a couple teaspoons, a tablespoon can start to be concerning. So, keeping an eye on that, we want to make sure that baby is getting the nutrients that they need. So, things that could be causing not getting enough to eat and that failure to thrive diagnosis could be an inefficient latch. So a baby that's working too hard for their calories, they're not getting enough calories to make up the difference. A tongue tie. So this is also usually going to be accompanied with gassiness, colic, and pain with nursing. tension patterns in their body. So when the nervous system is dysregulated and the baby is stuck in fight or flight, they can't shift off into rest and digest, which is required for proper absorption of nutrients and thriving as a growing baby. Feeding fatigue. So again, working too hard to consume the calories that they need. Supply concerns. So is mom not making enough when we need to look at supplementing? And that's something that your lactation consultant can absolutely help you with. And digestive stress. So is there an underlying allergy? Is there a sensitivity? Um, are they constipated? Did did you get antibiotics in labor and it's thrown off their gut flora? All these things can contribute to a failure to thrive diagnosis. Now, a failure to thrive is more than just difficulty breastfeeding. Typically, the babies that I see come in with failure to thrive have more nervous system dysregulation than anything else going on. So they aren't regulated in their body. They're not responding to their environment. They're not adapting well to being earthside, and they're struggling to get a latch because of it. They're struggling to digest their food because of it, and they're struggling to grow because of it. And that is because we cannot be in growth and protection at the same time. So, a team approach is super important when it comes to babies who are struggling with failure to thrive. So, absolutely should be seeing the pediatrician and following up with them, getting weight checks, checking progress on growth, um, rule out any major GI concerns or underlying genetic conditions. A lactation consultant's going to check that latch, check your supply with a weighted feed. Um, and help you get the best latch and the best breastfeeding relationship possible. The chiropractor is going to assess the nervous system. Is baby stuck in fight or flight? Are they struggling to digest their food because they're just so hyper responsive and activated in their nervous system that they're tending towards shutdown, and that's why they're falling asleep at the breast? And then any other of those medical specialists that I kind of talked about, GI and genetics and that sort of thing. So failure to thrive is pretty complex. It's more than just breastfeeding. It can be breastfeeding, but it's usually more. So involving the pediatrician, lactation consultant, chiropractor, um, speech or feeding specialist, and GI and anything else that your pediatrician feels needs to be followed up on. All of those things are absolutely vital when working to help a baby who is struggling. Now I want to talk about what I do as a pediatric chiropractor for babies who fit into that um, failure to thrive diagnosis. So number one, we check the nervous system. Is baby stuck in fight or flight? Are they shutting down? Are they in freeze? Do they need extra support so that they can adjust to being earthside and acclimate so that they can eat at the breast, even eat at a bottle. Some of these failure to thrive babies don't even really do a bottle. We work on feeding posture. So, making sure that baby is in a comfortable position to eat and that mom feels comfortable as well. Cranial tension. So this can really affect latch. This can affect the cranial nerves. So I assess for that. Neck mobility is vital for a good latch. And then any sort of asymmetry. So like they only take a bottle in this one position. I have to hold them exactly like that. That is an indicator that there's something structural going on. But really, it's the nervous system when it comes down to it. Failure to thrive is a nervous system problem. And we got to get baby out of protection so they can move into growth. And we want to do that as efficiently and as quickly as possible because time is absolutely of the essence when it comes to this. So act right away. Follow up with your pediatrician, get a lactation consultant, either a referral from your pediatrician or me, or find one through resources that are local to you. And if it just keeps getting worse, like keep pushing. If your baby is excessively sleepy and not having diaper output, that needs to be followed up with immediately. And trust your instincts. So moms just, I mean, so many times moms tell me like this just isn't right. And I will tell you 95% of the time they are correct. They know what isn't right with their baby. And like you moms know like usually what it is too. So any mom that comes into me and says it isn't right, okay, what do you think it is? If they tell me, I believe you. You tell me what it is, I believe you, and I'm going to investigate and use my clinical skills to like say like is that actually what's underlying? And then if it is, we're gonna find you the right resource and get it fixed. And that's exactly what we do here. That's what I've poured my heart into. We want to make sure that mom and baby are thriving, and we do that through the breastfeeding um, relationship and well beyond. So if your baby isn't gaining weight, feeding is difficult, and you're getting concerned, you're having pain, it's not going as you want, your baby seems uncomfortable, they're spitting up a lot, they're refluxy, they're colicky, all these things, don't wait. Act as soon as possible. I know in my schedule, if a mom calls and tells me a baby is having difficulty breastfeeding, I will stay late for you. We don't have a ton of time, especially if baby's just a couple weeks old and it's really important to you to breastfeed. We have to move as soon as possible to make that difference so that baby can thrive and you can breastfeed and you can have that relationship that you want to have. So make sure if you're struggling in this moment, don't wait a minute. Go on my website, submit the form. I reach out as soon as I see it, and we'll get you scheduled.